I've talked about tons of evil companies and industries over the years, but the one I want to talk about today makes Umbrella Corp from Resident Evil look like Weenie Hut Jr. Health insurance. Now, I've ranted and raved about health insurance on stream quite a few times, way before the big thing that happened recently. And I'll just be clear up front that I'm not here to talk too much about Brian Thompson getting banished to the Shadow Realm. I'm here to talk mainly about health insurance itself and how corrupt and malicious it is, as well as the United Health Group CEO Andrew Whitty's video that he made about the response to this whole thing. So to be clear, Brian Thompson was the CEO of United's insurance division. Andrew Whitty is the CEO of United Health Group.
I'm sure everybody has been disturbed by the amount of negative and in many cases vitriolic media and commentary that has been produced over the last few days, particularly in the social media environment.
Yeah, mean words are so much more disturbing than an entire business model that revolves around making oodles of cash off the corpses of your clients as you knowingly deny coverage for life-saving medical treatment for those individuals that have been paying you for so long, for the single purpose of you stepping in to help in an emergency situation. Then when that unfortunate time arises, it's just crickets and radio silence, and then like a giant stamp of denied from United. Here's a nice little graph that helps showcase how efficient these health insurance providers have become at denying your claims. And United Healthcare, they got it down to a science. They are way out in front. They got the gold medal with 33% denied claims. To put that into Fortnite terms, United is grittying to a fucking winner chicken dinner dubski as you and your loved ones are dying. It's no surprise why people hate health insurance. It's not a political issue like a lot of people are trying to make it. You can see some of the usual suspects on YouTube saying things like, oh, the lefties are celebrating the death of this healthcare CEO, an innocent man just looking to put food on the table for his families. And if you look at the comments, it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, everyone has been fucked equally by health insurance. They are the Thanos level threat to human beings' survival. Everybody knows somebody, and you may even be the victim yourself, that has been denied by their health insurance provider because the whole purpose of the health insurance business model is you pay them for a long period of time to do a single task for you, which is help in an emergency situation, and their goal is to find ways out of doing that task you pay them for, to fuck you in the face, literally just let people croak because they don't want to pay the money to cover those procedures that could save someone's life. They make money off normal people dying, and normal people are paying them for the service. It is so fucked up.
And I want to reassure you of a few things. Firstly, we are going to continue to make sure that we put patients, consumers, and members first, as we always have done.
What? Pardon? I must not have heard him right. There's no way Mr. Krabs just tried to sit there with a straight face looking like my wrinkled nutsack saying that United has always put members, consumers, and patients first. What? I mean, maybe he meant like putting them first in the ground after they deny the life-saving medical treatment that they were looking for. Maybe that's what he meant. I'm not entirely sure, but there's no way he actually tried to say that United puts the patients first, right? There's no way. I mean, you could just look at the data. 33% of all claims being denied? Like, in what universe does he think anyone's going to believe that? Everybody has been affected by this. It's not like this is some big secret. Everyone knows how fucking foul the health insurance industry is, and United is the worst offender. Like, here, I'll give you actual footage of the United CEO anytime one of its clients die after a denied claim. Man, I just broke that. Man, look what you made me do, Andrew! Look what you made me do!
The mission of this company is truly to make sure that we help the system improve by helping the experience for individuals get better and better.
Mission failed then, Andrew, in the biggest possible way. And the response that you're seeing to all this should be a pretty clear indication that every single human being on the planet that has been cursed with United health insurance coverage feels that the experience has only gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse as you have made more and more and more and more and more and more doubloons off of denying claims. Hey, real quick, Andrew, can you go ahead and put on your reading glasses and take a peek at this for me? Look at this chart and tell me exactly whose experience has been getting better? Because it's not the normal American that has to have health insurance. It seems more like it might just be United Health Group itself. I'll quickly take a moment to play in the pigpen and tackle the most brain dead that are trying to justify or defend the health insurance companies. Like, I couldn't imagine anything more pathetic than doing free PR for health insurance of all things, but there are those absolute worms out there doing that in the trenches right now. I see a lot of people making the comparison that a health insurance provider denying a claim is not the same as killing someone. It's fundamentally doing that. If someone's coming to their health insurance that they've been paying for how many years, and they are looking for coverage for a very expensive medical procedure, and they say no, and that person dies because they no longer could afford that medical procedure that would have saved their life, then that is the insurance provider fundamentally killing that person. And the comparison that some of the pseudo-intellectual enlightened super dweebs on Twitter are comparing it to is saying like, oh, well, if someone needs a kidney and you're not on the kidney donor list, so you don't give them a kidney, did you murder that person? Shouldn't even really need to explain why that's absolute dog shit, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. Was that person paying you for years and years with the sole purpose of you donating that kidney to them should they need it? Probably not. They weren't a client or anything like that. Like, not being a kidney donor is completely different than being a health insurance provider who is paid for a sole task, and then they do everything they can to not do that task. And then when someone dies as a result of their refusal to do that task they have been paid for, that is the health insurance provider having a big hand in that person's demise. Another pretty obvious difference here is that giving a kidney is an extremely big deal. Like, that is a risky thing to the person who does it. Whereas in health insurance, the only risk in paying for someone's medical procedure is that your shareholders might not get as many millions of dollars because now you might actually have to start doing what people are paying you for. If there is a chance that United Health paying for a medical procedure means they can't afford to pay for someone else's, then they shouldn't be in business in the fucking first place. It means they're trash at what they're supposed to be doing. They're being paid by everyone to do this task of covering their medical procedures when they need it. And if they can't afford to do that, they should not be around.
There was nobody who did more to try and advance that mission than Brian Thompson. And there are very few people in the history of the US healthcare industry who had a bigger positive effect on American healthcare than Brian.
Hey, come back to reality. Andrew, we're losing you. You're fading into Narnia right now. What are you talking about, man? Making tens of millions of dollars at a company that leads the nation in denied health insurance claims is not pushing the industry in any positive direction for normal Americans, man.
And we are going to make sure that we not only acknowledge and honor that legacy of Brian, but we will continue it.
That's right, everyone. We are going to be pushing for 50% denied claims next year in honor of this mission. It's a lofty goal, but I think we can deny even more claims come 2025. So mark your calendars. 2025 is United's year. We're making history. Half of all claims will be denied. Mark my words. Like, this isn't something you get excited about, man. The mission has just been growing your profits while denying more claims. So you proudly announcing that you're going to be continuing that mission is about as painful as you coming out and saying that you're going to continue waterboarding me. Like, why would I be pumping my fist about that? The only one that gets excited there is your shareholders.
Our role is a critical role, and we make sure that care is safe, appropriate, and is delivered when people need it. And we guard against the pressures that exist for unsafe care or for unnecessary care to be delivered in a way which makes the whole system too complex and ultimately unsustainable.
What is sustainable, though, is all of that growth United keeps experiencing. That's what really matters. We need to make sure that is sustained. This is garbage, man. This is actual just baloney. He's just blabbering about nothing. It's a yappuccino trying to spin this as like them trying to do something good. It's not. What Andrew and his company deem unnecessary care is completely unreasonable oftentimes, where it is very necessary for the patient to stay alive. Well, we denied this claim because we felt it was unnecessary, because we did a cost-benefit analysis and we concluded that the patient was going to die in 60 years anyway, so what's really the point in spending all this money to keep them alive now when they're just going to kick the bucket in, a couple of decades?
So we're going to continue to make that case. We will continue to do the work we do. And I have never been more proud of this company and our colleagues and what this company does on behalf of people in need across the country.
You would really think, with what happened here, someone like Andrew, and I don't believe that he's even really human anymore. I believe he has sold his soul many, many years ago and is just this hollow husk that's only filled with money. But you would still think at some point the neurons would fire in his noodle and he'd see this response and be like, that mission, about helping people, kind of failed at that, didn't we? Maybe we should do something different. But he hasn't even had that realization. Or maybe he has and he just doesn't care, which is the more likely explanation. But you would just truly think that the reality would set in like, oh, people fucking hate us. People are awake to how exploitative we are and how we are actively making their lives harder.
I encourage you to tune out that critical noise that we're hearing right now. It does not reflect reality. It is simply a sign of an era in which we live.
Great advice. All those people talking about how corrupt this industry is, yes, please plug your ears to that so that way you don't actually hear from the victims of our business model. We don't want you to start feeling sympathy for the numbers on our bottom line, all right? We need to make sure that we don't look at them as anything real. They're just imaginary NPCs for our money, and we like that money, don't we? It's just so crazy. It's so crazy. He's saying that it doesn't reflect reality. Brother, that is the reality. These are your clients that are coming out and sharing their experiences. It doesn't get any more real than that. As opposed to your fucking barnacles that you're vomiting out here, that is the fraudulent fakeness. The reality is that people have been fucked by your health insurance company and plenty of others. The industry is rotten to its very core, and people know that, which is why this isn't some big political issue of left and right. Everyone is united in how hard they have been fucked and how many times they have seen people be affected negatively by this industry. And this guy just refuses to let that set in, and he's trying to brainwash his employees to just be numb to it and pay no attention to it.
What we must do is focus on what we know to be true. And what we know to be true is that the health system needs a company like United Health Group, and it needs people like Brian within it. We're fortunate that within this company, we have so many people driven and inspired in the same way that Brian was, and we will continue in our journey to help everybody who needs it within the health environment.
It's just crazy. I know I don't need to keep ranting about it, but it actually does just blow my mind that he would even say things like that, which are so provably false. It's honestly like almost a threat that they have plenty of other people like Brian in the company that are as inspired as Brian and focusing on what Brian was focusing on, which is clearly the profits in the company and denying more claims so they can make more money. That's a bad thing. And he's just talking about it like it's an accolade to be super proud of and something to be excited about. It's just frightening. It's actually just frightening. So yeah, I wanted to rant about health insurance a little bit. That's it. See ya. I just watched a crazy video from Code Blue Cam about a drunk driver, and really, drunk is not the proper nomenclature. That doesn't really tell the whole story. He is cartoonishly inebriated, to the point where I was half expecting him to start burping up bubbles like a character out of Tom and Jerry when they drink a root beer. So this goober was driving the wrong way and actually almost hit Kamala Harris head on. So he starts getting interviewed by the Secret Service at the scene as well.
But as her motorcade made its way to the airport along I-94, a vehicle driving in the wrong direction approached, narrowly missing the convoy by just feet. After passing 29 vehicles involved in the escort, a Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputy at the rear of the motorcade quickly stopped the vehicle, identifying the driver as 55-year-old Wayne Wacker.
Could there be a better name? Wayne Whacker sounds like a superhero who jerks off villains at dangerously high velocities till they give up. Wayne Whacker. It's like a name I would make up for a Dark Souls character.
An open Miller Lite beer can was clearly visible in the center console.
They should have slapped an additional charge on this DUI for his beer of choice being a Miller Lite. I've been saying it for like 8 years now. Miller Lite is the actual worst piss water ever made. Full stop. I can't stand that. If you serve me Miller Lite, I'm leaving. Like, that's a sure. Like, you would get me out of an establishment faster by handing me a Miller Lite than you would by telling me it was on fire.
You got his ID and everything?
I didn't get anything yet.
Oh, you got your ID on you, sir?
What?
You got your ID on you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna need that. Is it in here? Your ID's in here? I don't think so. Where are you coming from tonight, my boss? You don't know? Clearly too much to drink, even with your Miller Lite here, huh?
Doesn't matter.
It sure does.
This man is so lost, truly discombobulated, acting like Robin Williams when he popped out of Jumanji for the first time, wondering what year it is. He is in a trance. He is so drunk he doesn't know what's happening. When the officer picked up the Miller Lite and took it away from Wayne Whacker, I thought he was gonna jump at him like a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare to get it back. Like, he looked upset that the Miller Lite was moving out of arm's reach.
Why do you keep pointing at that? I didn't need your ID. I don't care what's in there. Oh, no, still not it.
They get caught in this cutscene here with Wayne having a whack attack. Like, he doesn't know where the ID is, so instead he just, like, slowly moves around like one of the tree imps in Lord of the Rings, and, like, just cannot, like, grasp what's going on. He's in a totally different dimension.
Hop on out now. Hop on out of the car. Hop out of the car. We're talking to my partner.
No, let's get him out first. Let's get him out. That's fine. So unbuckle your seatbelt, sir.
They eventually just decided to skip this cutscene because Wayne was making no progress locating that ID. We'd probably find Atlantis before Mr. Whacker would stumble across his ID.
Down south?
Down south? You know you could have killed somebody, right? Going the wrong way in traffic, man. A very busy highway here. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. How much have you had to drink today?
Couple beers.
Couple beers? How long ago?
For this wrong way, I had to start a new car over there.
Tonight.
Tonight? Okay. What's your name, man?
Wayne.
Wayne? Wayne what?
Whacker.
Whacker.
It's a very serious situation. I've made this clear many times over the years. I have literally zero respect for drunk drivers. But even in a situation like this, hearing someone say that their name is Wayne Whacker, I don't know if I'd be able to stop myself from laughing. Like, I don't know how I wouldn't giggle at that name.
U.S. Secret Service agents responded to the traffic stop to speak with Wayne.
Where were you? Like, where were you headed from? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Where were you coming from?
Down a gay bar down in...
Gay bar downtown, or like where?
Yeah.
Now we're getting a little exposition here and some background on the character. They're starting to flesh out the lore of Wayne Whacker. So they lean him against that median because couldn't really stand super well, so they have him leaning there, and he just starts, like, posting up, fucking taking a chill pill. Like, he's about to overdose on chill pills while he's intoxicated. So he's just leaning against there, and they're just asking him some, like, basic questions, like, do you remember where you're coming from? And he said that he's coming from a gay bar downtown.
Was it in the center council, or where was it at?
It's there.
It's there? Okay.
Out of traffic in the board with the state patrol.
Sir, Secret Service.
See
See a motorcade go by?
What?
See a bunch of cars go by when you're going the wrong way?
Yeah.
You didn't see that?
I am close by to take that.
Wayne is gripping that like it's a roller coaster ride. He is holding on for dear life there. So the Secret Service comes over to get some answers to some questions to see if this guy was, like, trying to perform an assassination attempt here. And Wayne, he doesn't even know what's going on. Going the wrong way, doesn't see any of the 29 cars that passed him. He doesn't know what is happening. He is so fucking drunk. In the way that he speaks, it sounds like he's got, like, peanut butter in his mouth. Like, it sounds like he is actually talking in a dream. Like, you know, like when you're in a dream and everything feels, like, really slow and, like, odd, like, especially throwing a punch. Like, that is how he is talking.
Where are you coming from? Car? Home? Alright. How much did you have to drink?
2 beers.
Take a suspicious 979 South 60.
Any idea if Kamala Harris is in town?
Well, I guess I did.
For them sealed out against the
Is that the reason you're going the wrong way on the highway?
No.
Why are we going the wrong way on the highway? Because you're drunk? What?
Drunk.
He admits to being drunk, yet he still says he only drank 2 beers. Usually that whole "I've only had 2 drinks" line from drunk drivers is a tactic employed by those that are trying to convince the others that they're not drunk. Wayne is just like, "I'm drunk. Drunk." Speaking like a caveman with like one word. Drunk. I don't even really see the point of why he's lying about how much alcohol he's consumed. Or maybe he's just a super lightweight somehow and he really did only have 2 beers and he ended up that fucking hammered. Though I find that pretty unlikely.
Do you remember what entrance you came up on?
What?
Do you know what entrance ramp you came up on? No. You don't remember any of that?
There's no idea other than his yes employee.
What?
Passport?
I didn't. No.
Do you have a passport? No?
No?
Okay.
What's your height and weight?
I'm fat.
Now the officers can't contain their laughter anymore. He is so fucking inebriated that when asked questions like what's your height and weight, all he can say is fat. And they found his public school ID. Turns out Wayne Wacker is a teacher. And you can clearly see Professor Wacker isn't taking this super seriously. He doesn't understand just how dangerous this was.
Are you motivated by any kind of extremism group? Are you involved or associated with any kind of groups?
No.
Like a military group or like anything like that? Are you a gun holder?
A what?
A gun holder. Like, do you have a concealed carry? Do you own weapons at home?
No.
Anything like that? You don't have any guns at home?
Yeah, I do.
What do you got?
Pretty much the entire time Wayne is smiling, like he has like a perpetual smile as his eyes are almost fully closed. So he almost seems flattered with how many officers and Secret Service agents showed up. He even asked if all of them were there for him, and they said, "Yeah, you're driving the wrong way down a very busy road." And he goes, "Really?" Like it looked like it was the happiest fucking moment of his life. Like he just went downstairs on Christmas morning and saw the bicycle he's always wanted under the tree from Santa.
Yeah, what school? What the hell is it called? No, I'm asking. It's called,
Where's it located, Wayne?
no, it's called,
Alright.
No, wait. What art means you teach, or what do you do? Yeah, what?
I'm 100% sure that Wayne was going to try and make up a school name so that way he didn't risk his job with all this. Because I think he was able to process that, oh, cops, drunk, this might not be a good look for the school, and now they know I'm a teacher. I'll try and throw him off the trail with a made-up name. But he was too fucked up, he couldn't think of any other name. But I really thought, like, when they asked him, where is it? I thought he was going to reach into his pocket and give him one of these or something. Or hit him with, like, a really stupid name for a school. Like, Education Academy or something. But he just wasn't able to put it all together, so instead he just keeps, like, stalling. Like, he just keeps throwing in, like, filler words. Or maybe he truly is so drunk he just can't even remember where he teaches every day. Also possible, I suppose.
What's the deal?
All right, remember what I told you, Wayne? We're going to do some field sobriety tests to make sure that you're okay to drive, okay? So my
Well, I'm
partner's
not driving.
Well, you were.
I want you to keep your head straight, but I want you to follow it with just your eyes, okay? Remember what I was saying, Wayne?
Am I doing it right?
Nope. So remember what I was saying? Just keep your head straight, okay? And just follow it with just your eyes.
Oh, just my eyes.
Just your eyes, okay? So you're still keeping your head. All right, you're
For so many decades, people have criticized Superman Clark Kent, the disguise being really lackluster because Clark Kent is just Superman with a pair of glasses on and nothing else. How would people not connect the dots that Clark Kent is Superman? Like, the glasses wouldn't be enough for the disguise. But I totally get it now. When Wayne Wacker took off his glasses, he immediately polymorphed into Alex Jones. Like, he instantly just shapeshifted into Alex Jones. It was like a totally different looking guy. His fucking facial expressions remind me of Super Mario 64 when you start up the game and you can take the little hand and move his nose around and move his mouth around and everything and shake his head around. That is what Wayne Wacker is doing here for the Follow the Light field sobriety test.
2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, you all done, Wayne?
Yeah.
All right, one more test for you. Okay.
As graceful as a ballerina and as elegant as a butterfly. Wayne, you've outdone yourself with that one. I half expected him to go up on his tippy toes and then hit us with a curtsy at the very end of that.
1, 2. 1. Hold on. I'm joking.
That's all right. Just do the best you can.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, we'll move on, Wayne, to the... We got one more test, okay?
He agreed to the PBT, which resulted in 0.252.
And blow. Keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing.
I did good.
All right, you know what the legal limit to drive in the state of Wisconsin is, Wayne?
No.
Okay, so it's 0.08, okay?
I passed.
All right, so you're at a 0.252, okay? So that's more than 3 times the legal limit. Wayne, you're going to be placed on arrest for OWI tonight, okay?
I can't believe it turned out he was actually drunk. I thought with how well he was doing in those field sobriety tests, it may have been a misunderstanding. Maybe he just got confused with the, where he was going on the road, the ramp threw him for a loop-de-loop and pull type maneuver. But I guess he was actually intoxicated. I'm as stunned as you are.
In the end, Wayne was only charged with felony second-degree recklessly endangering safety and received over $2,700 in traffic citations, including one for operating while intoxicated. Since his last OWI conviction occurred more than 10 years ago, it is being treated as a first offense.
Yeah, so that's how the story of Wayne Wacker and the Miller Lite wraps itself up there. I just had to talk about this a little bit. It was one of the weirder drunk driving body cam videos I've seen from Code Blue Cam or any of the other body cam channels. It was quite a ride. That's really about it. So yeah. There's a story floating around that's piqued a lot of interest, and a lot of people have wondered if I've seen it. It's about North Korean soldiers that allegedly have become addicted to adult content online, since for the first time in their lives, they have less restrictions on internet usage while they're fighting for Russia against Ukraine. So, North Korean soldiers that are fighting with Russia, they've apparently gone full gooner after having their Sharingan awakened with this unfettered internet access, at least according to Gideon Rackman, a Financial Times Foreign Affairs commentator. A usually reliable source tells me that the North Korean soldiers who have deployed to Russia have never had unfettered access to the internet before. As a result, they are gorging on pornography. A classic source, trust me bro moment. However, this guy does have some prestige with that title, I think. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the Financial Times or anything. It's not like he really dove into the lore or explained where he got this information from. He just kind of made it like a mic drop moment and then walked away. So this could just be a guy pulling shit out of his ass. It's very possible. The U.S. Defense Department spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Charlie Dietz, was even asked about it and said that he couldn't confirm any North Korean internet habits or virtual extracurriculars. He went on to say that they're instead more focused on serious aspects of North Korea's involvement, if any, in Russia's military operations, and that the question about whether or not the North Korean soldiers are going auga at their phone screens when looking at honkers should be asked to Moscow instead. Of course, it's impossible for me to know whether or not the claim is true that North Korean soldiers are now gorging on pornography. I'm not there. I'm not looking over their shoulder, breathing down their neck, going, hey, what you watching there? So I have no way of knowing. It doesn't seem like there's any strong evidence to support the claim, but whether or not it's true, it's an interesting thought that I want to talk about briefly. We had a similar topic that I talked about like 5 months ago when there was a story about this remote tribe that had recently got internet access, and there was a viral story about how they've now become addicted to porn and it's destroying their entire community and all of that. So this isn't the first of its kind here, though in that case that was very overblown and dramatic for the sake of clicks. And in this case, It's too early to tell, but there's no evidence to suggest that North Korean soldiers are right now in the middle of big-time gooning. On Reddit, however, the front page, they have this photo right here that claims it's a picture of a North Korean soldier that was watching girls dancing all day, but it looks like a really staged photo. I mean, the guy looks super happy. He looks like he's on cloud nine right there. That is a man who is at peace with whatever is on his phone, but it really feels like this picture is not authentic. And then from the same Reddit account, they also posted this, which is a short video of a North Korean soldier apparently watching girls dancing on social media. To me, they just feel more fake than a fleshlight, just very phony baloney staged photos. I don't know why, maybe to capitalize off how viral this story has become. It just, to me, doesn't seem real, but it is very possible it is. But I haven't seen any actual journalists report on that photo or that video. So I don't know if the authenticity has been verified or anything, but putting it through the Charles sniff test smells like bullshit to me. Who really knows? But the idea is interesting because when you grow up with access to the internet, there's a lot of things that become normal to you that are incomprehensible to those that don't have that. There's the obvious, like, information, access to others, videos, like an infinite number of things change drastically with internet access. But since the focal point of this story was porn, I guess I'll talk on that aspect too. In North Korea, porn is Voldemort. You don't say its name, but it does exist. Like, there is a consumption of pornography in North Korea, even though it is forbidden. It's usually through the black markets, purchasing magazines or films and such, but it's not something that's like officially condoned, and it does carry a severe punishment, at least as I understand it. So it's not something most people have access to in an easy way. So as a North Korean soldier, if you go fight somewhere overseas and you have access to it on your phone, that is a game changer experience, because prior to that, most likely the only way you'd ever really see a naked person is if you saw them in person, right? Like, think back. I made this point when talking about this in the last video when it came to the remote tribe. The average person in the world right now has seen more yams and butt cheeks than your entire family tree combined, thanks to the internet. In the modern day and age, you can't even open up Twitter without being inundated with titties, pussy, and spread asshole. And it's become so normalized. Not just on Twitter, on just the internet as a whole. If you go to the comment section right now, I guarantee there is probably 1,000 bot comments with a naked woman or just giant milkers that is a copy and paste of some other comment right there promoting OnlyFans or some other porn site. It's just become extremely common. So if you're someone that's never had access to the internet and then you just suddenly get it, it's overwhelming with the amount of new things that get introduced into your life. And it's big for the brain here. Like, it's so overstimulating, like all the information, and that does include all of the porn that then just gets fucking placed right there on your doorstep. Like, it's something that even if you don't go looking for it, like even if the North Korean soldiers aren't typing in naked boobie to blow a load, they will undoubtedly just encounter it because of how prevalent it is just in the internet in general. Like, even if they don't go out of their way for it, it will find them. Again, this assumes the story's true in the first place, that North Korean soldiers are drooling and hooked on porn right now. Even though there's no evidence to support that claim at the moment, the claim itself is believable because of how widely documented porn addiction is. It's a serious, serious problem. And in this case, I'm assuming the soldiers have probably never even seen porn before, considering how difficult it is to get in North Korea. So they're probably even more blown away by it and more susceptible to it, would be my guess. Of course, I'm not a psychologist or anything. I'm not a fucking porn scientist. It's just what I'm imagining would be the case. It's just a fascinating thought, really, because I grew up with the internet. I imagine most people watching this have as well. And even if you didn't grow up with it, you got to evolve with it over time. It was never something that all of a sudden the modern internet just fell into your lap one day. You watched it grow and build into what it became today. In this case, they're getting the internet dropped on them all at once, coming from nothing to everything. It's like fucking Gojo's domain expansion, really, but with internet degeneracy. So I just find it super interesting. Also, this is a bit unrelated and probably a bit stupid, but I do wonder if this is a true claim about North Korean soldiers gorging on adult content. Would the US military try and use that to their advantage somehow, you think? Like start blasting their devices with advertisements for like giant melons, like click here. And they spend like hours doing that, just rotting away watching porn as opposed to fighting. I wonder if that'd be like an effective tactic in general. Like they start just spamming their phones with like those advertisements from back in the day, like, this sexy singles in your area, this woman's trying to fuck you right now. Actually, this very second. Hey, asshole, this woman's trying to put on a show for you, specifically you. It's a private show. And it's like Keister just jiggling around. Click here and watch. Have some fucking respect. Just like this giant effort to keep them glued to their phone watching porn as opposed to like going out to the front lines and fighting. I don't think it'd actually work. Obviously, I'm just kidding around, but it is an interesting idea. Could there be any merit to that strategy? Most likely not. That's really about it. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm greasy. What about it? First thing in the morning, haven't showered, worked out right before bed, didn't shower. Big whoop? Can't handle a little grease? Get out of the kitchen. Last night was the Game Awards where Jeff Keighley teabagged us all with some big announcements and some big awards. And there's a few things I want to talk about. First of all, that was the biggest stream I've ever done in my life. I had 110,000 peak concurrent viewers on YouTube and 20,000 on Twitch. 130,000 total viewers on one of my live streams is unfathomable to me. Can't even get the words out. So huge thanks to you for anyone that tuned in. That was cool. Big thanks to Jeff Keighley for making my biggest stream of all time. I mean, I worked really hard on watching the Game Awards this year. I put a lot of work into my reactions, so I'm glad to see that this was the stream that popped off so big for me. But there's just aside from that, there's some things I want to talk about with like the announcements as well as the big talk of the town, Game of the Year. First and foremost, there were some big announcements that I absolutely think are worth getting excited for. Some shit that I don't think even Baba Vanga would have predicted were revealed at the awards show here. I know there's a ton of naysayers saying nothing good got shown, it all looks like trash. But I would say don't listen to the paint chip eating weirdos that are still soiling their diapers. Like that is actual delusion. Like sure you can say, oh, I'm not really looking forward to, maybe the next Elden Ring game, which I'm going to get into in a moment because it seems it's going in a weird direction. But to say that there were no good announcements blows my mind. We got a fucking Okami sequel announcement, for God's sake. I feel like people that think there was nothing good shown here don't actually play games, because that alone is huge. We got a new Onimusha, a new Virtua Fighter. To keep in mind, Virtua Fighter hasn't had a new real game since 2007. We got a new game from the Shadow of the Colossus team. Like, these are huge games that I cannot wait to see. Like, these are OG from back in, like, the golden era of really creative works. So I'm super excited to see a new iteration into these franchises. Like, I think that's really exciting. And then for new franchises, they announced Project Century, which looks really good. Naughty Dog's got a new IP. Hey, I'm breaking the timeline here. I just showered, but I have to replace this section here as I was listing new IPs that they announced last night. So that's why my hair's wet instead of greasy now. Just want to peel back the curtain on that a little bit on why it changed so drastically. But some of the other IPs that they announced that look great. First Berserker, Kazan, Dispatch, the Pac-Man secret level game, Shadow Labyrinth. Like, there's just a lot they showed that I actually think is super cool. So I was really impressed with the trailers and really surprised that people thought there was nothing good that they revealed. It actually baffles my fucking noodle up here that anyone would think that. I really think it's people just wanting everything to be bad. So they'll put on their biggest frown and just pretend that it was all negative and it's all lame, throwaway shovelware. The gaming industry is so cooked. I also just forgot, they revealed a new Turok. There hasn't been a new Turok since 2008. I used to make montages on the 2008 Turok game when I was still in fucking middle school. Turok as an IP has been dead and dusted for almost 2 decades. The last time I touched a new Turok game, I hadn't even held a girl's hand. And now, in 2024, we get a fucking Turok announcement? How is that not hype? Like, I don't understand why everyone is so desperate for everything to be the worst it can possibly be, even when there is, like, real positive shit that they showed from the announcements. That's exciting. And gaming, I think AAA gaming is kind of cooked. Like, at least Western devs, it's been fucking floundering left and right. I've talked about this a lot. But where the AAA space is eating ass, the rest of the world is blessing us with great games. Like, we haven't had this many international releases to this quality ever. And indie games have never been better. Like, the gaming industry as a whole, I think, is in a good space. And I think it's a good thing that some of these legacy AAA studios are eating so much shit. Like Ubisoft. I spit on Ubisoft every chance I get. I've been hawking loogies at them for many, many months now. But they deserve it. Like, they are digging their own grave. They just released a fucking NFT game in 2024. Like, come on. So while Ubisoft might be having this cartoonish fall where they're just perpetually slipping on ice as their stock price continues to plummet, where they might not make it, there will be other games that will fill that void. And they'll probably get bought by Tencent. I really think Ubisoft will end up getting bought by Tencent. I don't think that's going to save any of the properties that they have, but that's my little game theory, my hypothesis there. What we'll have is more room for great games like a Black Myth Wukong, or great indie games like a Nine Souls. Still very upset Nine Souls didn't get a single nomination, by the way. Anyway, though, I'll stop going on that tangent. Let's talk about something I just briefly mentioned that I talked about quite a bit during the stream. The new Elden Ring, Night Rain. When they first showed it, man, I was kicking my little feet in my chair. I was so happy. It's clearly not a battle royale. I'm so fucking hyped. Oh my god, the Nameless King, I'm gonna come. Jiminy Christmas. That guy just has an eagle for a head. That's the most American patriotic shit I ever seen. So it's not DLC, they said it's a standalone. So it's a new Elden Ring game? All that excitement soon turned to excrement. The more I learned about it, the more I started to get more and more worried and kind of shitting on the concept. So Night Rain is a roguelike, co-op survival boss rush type experience with battle royale elements. Like, that bird you saw right there is actually like their battle bus, according to the people that played. Oh, it's painful. Like, I have nothing but faith in FromSoft, but I am really concerned that this might be their first blemish. And this is not with Sony buying Kadokawa yet. So this is a FromSoft decision. And I'm gonna be honest, sports fans. I'll play some clips from the stream where you can see the realization wash over me that this might not actually be good. But I think this really might not be very good. I don't like the concept. I do not think it makes a whole lot of sense for a Souls game, but I am willing to be proven wrong, hoping I'll be proven wrong. Please don't let me down, FromSoft. The vibes get even stranger when you see a battle royale style wall of deadly rain encircling the map and characters dashing around on foot like the— Wait, what? Night Rain is Elden Ring Turbo, condensed 3-player roguelike with a little dash of Monster Hunter to it as you choose a final boss to face at the end of a 30-ish minute run. That's assuming you survive 2 days of the circle shrinking to focal points where someone in Alt Limgrave each night, culminating in its own tough boss battle. I don't really love that. Yeah, I know Miyazaki's not on it, that's what chat was saying, but even still, that just seems like such a blatant cash grab. I don't like that. I mean, maybe, again, I have nothing but faith in FromSoft in general, but that direction I'm not super stoked on. When I started my first session by dropping onto the map from a spectral bird, the entrance was so Fortnite coded I wondered if From Software was joining the live service party with a battle pass seasonal event and $20 epic skins. So that's what the bird was that they showed? That's their like battle bus dropping? Oh, fuck me. Oh, yikes. We wanted to have a game that felt like a complete package out of the box on the day of purchase so everything is unlockable. It's not what we'd consider a live service game. We're still in the process of thinking about possibilities. No PvP elements at all, no invasions, no esoteric multiplayer covenants. We wanted to have a sense of accomplishment. You don't put those words together. You never put those words together. Ever. You never put sense of accomplishment like that. Man, I'm a little worried this might be FromSoft's first miss. And this isn't even Sony's fault. This is before they're getting bought out by Sony. Shit! Well, okay, I'm counting my chickens before they hatch. But man, how do you even make that good? That is like the antithesis to a Souls experience. Like, I think you can make a roguelike work. I think you can make roguelike elements work. What I'm not convinced you can make work is a battle royale influenced boss rush. Has Miyazaki-san had any input in the game, or is he strictly hands-off on the project? Initially, I took the idea to Miyazaki-san, who gave it the green light. He was a little involved in that initial concept phase of the game, but after that, he gave full reign to me. Isn't looking good. It's not sounding good. But I guess we'll see, man. I'll give FromSoft the benefit of the doubt. They haven't let me down yet, but this feels like something I'd expect them to do under Sony, to be honest. But it's not Sony. This is something they just decided to do. I'll go ahead and stop yapping about Elden Ring, and now let's blabber about the big one, Game of the Year. I've said for a while my Game of the Year was Black Myth Wukong. My favorite games of the year were Black Myth Wukong, Nine Souls, and Space Marine 2. I absolutely fucking loved those three games. Astrobot, I do think is a good game. It wouldn't be my personal game of the year, but that is what took home the gold medal. Come on, Wukong! I think it's gonna be Astrobot, like I said. I think it'll probably be Astrobot.
And the game of the year is...
But I'm pulling for Wukong, please!
Astrobot!
Damn it! Fuck! I told you though. There were a lot of people upset about this dubski from Astrobot here, especially during stream in the chat. I think a lot of people didn't play Astrobot because a lot of people kind of wrote it off as just being like a throwaway platformer, even though it was like a game journalist darling that had like 10s across the board. Trust in game journalists has never been lower, for good reason. Just look at IGN. They're really going hog wild on 5s for like actually good things. Like, it's at a point where a lot of people don't really care what a game journalist review has to say about something. So people didn't put a lot of stock into something like Astrobot being an actually good game. It is. Astrobot is a great game. It was a wonderful game, super fun, full of soul. It has a lot of replayability, but I do still feel personally that Black Myth Wukong was something a little more special. Astrobot set out to make a really good platforming game, and it succeeded in a big way. Black Myth Wukong set out on like a really unique path. It's not like the most unique game, the gameplay in it isn't something we haven't seen before, but the complete package that it delivers is unlike a lot of things I've played, because it comes from a Chinese developer that really tried to carve its own road with this game. And I think they succeeded. Like, it has so much style and so much to it. Like, it took me 35 hours or something just to beat the game the first time around, and that was without getting the true ending. So the game has a lot of meat on its bones. It never really overstays its welcome somehow. Like, it still constantly feels fresh. It's challenging, but not in a way that ever really felt unfun. I've glazed Black Myth Wukong plenty. I'm sure all of you have heard me gushing grannies over it. I just really thought Black Myth Wukong was Game of the Year for me. Wukong did win Player's Voice, which was the 100% user-voted game award, so Black Myth Wukong got the Player's Game of the Year award, the People's Champion. But I just really did think that it was deserving of a Game of the Year win here. Not that I think Astrobot isn't, I just still felt Black Myth Wukong was stronger. Anyway, though, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the Game Awards last night. Really, that's about it. So, yeah. Do you believe the Costco guys were disrespected by Jimmy Fallon? 2024 is a crazy year that sentence actually means something. There is a video breakdown on how they were disrespected. What does that mean? Costco guy's Jimmy Fallon body language analysis. Heavens to Betsy. Why? Is this where they explain how they were disrespected? Oh, it's become like a whole meme. I see. Okay. Is it this? Body language analysis, the Rizzler and Costco guys on the Tonight Show? And he's got like the green lines, what were they? The alpha lines? They're beta lines. They were beta lines, I think. I can't remember.
Welcome to the Tonight Show. Thank you so much for being here. You guys have taken over the internet, and now you've...
Notice how Jimmy stutters numerous times in his opening monologue. This is a sign of intimidation, as well as a sign of submittance to more powerful males who are higher up on the social pecking order than him.
I already love the concept. Chef Bojack crushed it. Alright, that's good. I thought it was like a real thing. I thought they brought on like a body language expert to see like what the Rizzler was feeling in the presence of Jimmy Fallon. The raw clip is somehow worse. Well, you keep talking about the raw clip. What happened? Did the Rizzler sculpt Jimmy Fallon? Like what are you talking about? What is going on? What is this raw clip? He interrupted their booms. Oh. Wait, that's serious.
We film recording a hamburger. We give it a big boom. The video blows up. It gets to 100,000 views. I said, that's it. This is now a father-son channel. Let's bring the boom.
Yeah, this is it. Now this is going to be what we do now.
Notice the Rizzler's facial expression at the end of the exchange. Rizzler is clearly bored of the conversation. However, as a strong leader should, he will let those below him do all the talking for him, allowing his words to hold more power when he finally does decide to open his mouth.
I feel so bad for that kid, actually. Like, right now he's a superstar, but you give this, like, 10 years, and he's gonna be like the You're Breathtaking guy, I think. Where he just won't let it go, and it just controls the rest of his fucking life. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully, AJ doesn't let him go down that road. AJ isn't his dad. What? Wait, what? Wait. Who the fuck is this then? He's not his son? It's his friend's kid. The Rizzler is AJ's father. Ah, yeah, now it's starting to add up. So where is the Rizzler's dad? Why isn't he a character in the AJ Big Justice cinematic universe? They're not friends. They literally just met at Costco. I need to take a fucking lore dive into here for a second. What do you mean? You're telling me AJ just found this kid at Costco and put him in the video? And called him the Rizzler? There's no way. I'm just going to type in, who is the Rizzler? A 7-year-old from New Jersey. Well, this can't be right, because it says things popped off when his dad captured a video of Christian. That's the Rizzler's real name. Well, that's his the government name. His real name is the Rizzler. Essentially getting the zoomies in a Black Panther costume. What? How did AJ meet Rizzler? I can't believe I'm even Googling shit like this. This is so embarrassing. Go to Boomkipedia. Christian has a trademarked recipe for Riz face, as putting one eyebrow down and raising the other eyebrow up and sucking in like this, aka mewing. Someone wrote this. Someone actually wrote this. Oh, here we go. Is the Rizzler related to Big Justice and AJ Befumo? The Rizzler is friends, not brothers, with another kid, Eric Befumo, whose social media persona is Big Justice. Big Justice posts content with his father, AJ, an amateur wrestler who was already giving social media a go when his son asked to get into the fun on TikTok. Family food reviews took off so much the father-son duo became known as the Costco guys, who give explosive ratings of Costco items. Yeah, and then the boom meter. So the Rizzler is friends with Big Justice. They didn't just randomly meet at a Costco.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, well, we came up with the boom meter because people rate stuff 1 to 10.
Yeah.
So we said it goes from 1 to 5 booms. So we could be real. If it's good, it gets 4 booms. Okay, 2 booms. Bad, 1 boom. Amazing, 5 big booms.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay. Yeah, boom. Yeah, 5 booms. Yeah, okay.
Jesus, Jimmy. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Weasel he is, Jimmy passive-aggressively rains on the parade of 2 people having more fun than him. Jimmy resents the Costco guys for having more average viewers than his network television show. And he shows this by his constant attempts of little jabs along with his annoyed body language.
This is actually probably the most annoyed I've ever seen Jimmy Fallon. Usually he's putting on like the fakest smile of all time and he's become known for the desk slapping. And he is not doing any of this so far. Maybe they're right. Maybe he was disrespecting the Costco guys. And more importantly, the Rizzler. He's lucky he made it out of that interview with his life. He talks about how they met on FaZe Rug's podcast. Holy fuck. Why do I have to go to so many different places to put together the lore here? This is like fucking Horus Heresy, but for TikTokers. So where? On FaZe Rug's podcast, they told the story of the genesis of Rizzler. Rizzler basically got famous with that Black Panther video, and AJ reached out to meet up, that's all. AJ the dad. The dad reached out to the family. That makes so much more sense than AJ just DMing a 7-year-old. Saying, cool video, you want to head to Costco?
I saw a video of him, and I was like, Daddy, I want to meet this kid. And they were like, I love you guys, we've been watching you.
What?
So
That was a crazy laugh.
I reached out through the video because the minute Big Justice brought me the Rizzler, I said, all right, I gotta get you guys on the stage.
He was like,
I don't care what it takes.
Just because I'm Black Panther doesn't mean I have to go up a ladder.
So, reach out.
I really think AJ looks like Papa John if he took a different path in life. Like, I feel like they were crafted from the same mold, and Papa John went pizza, and he went double chunk chocolate chip. And now they both have their own little branches of success. There's probably more like him, too. We haven't discovered them yet. They're like Primarchs. Keep making Warhammer references. So that's pretty simple, I guess. So Big Justice just liked that Black Panther video that we just learned about, and then had AJ reach out to the family, and then they hung out. Alright, so that's not like the craziest lore ever. And then the other disrespect was 10:30, you said?
And this is the boom meter. Jimmy's gonna try the double chunk chocolate cookie.
Fallon is laughing here out of pure fear as they surround him. You can tell the pressure of the moment's really starting to get to him, and you can see
it's like a hostage.
Minorly hyperventilate. They also say that imitation's the greatest form of fattery, and Fallon's trying to imitate the Rizzler here by doing a mini Riz face to try to be cool, calm, and collected, just like him.
Chocolate cookie, get on the boom meter.
The double chunk chocolate cookie gets 5 big booms. Boom! We'll be right back with more Tonight Show. Stick around.
By ending the segment this early, Fallon basically taps out and admits he's not man enough to spend any more time with the likes of the Rizzler, AJ, and Big Justice.
That was the impression I got as well. Wow, that was fucking terrible to sit through watching Jimmy do that. See, there's an art form to it. When the Costco guys do it, it's cool. When Jimmy does it, it hurts. So, why isn't the Rizzler's dad part of this? That still hasn't been answered. If there's any Costco guy lore experts, does his dad not want any of it? Or is his dad just happy letting AJ raise his kid and overfeed him? His son took all of his aura. You go to the Rizzler's house and his dad is shriveled up like a raisin. And the Rizzler just sapping it all. It's been a pretty interesting couple weeks for recalls. I just talked about the Costco butter stuff, and now Mattel has had to pull thousands of its Wicked dolls from the shelves because they sent them out with the wrong URL on the box. The URL that got shipped on the box goes to an adult website, which apparently had this site going plus ultra as they experienced a huge surge in traffic that they hadn't seen in 12 years at least. The porn site it links to is called wicked.com, And I talked about it on stream. I'll show some clips from that where I dive in a bit deeper. But initially when I was reading the story, I didn't recognize the site. I thought it was just one of those millions of nonsense, completely barren wasteland porn sites that spring up, you know, fucking quirkyperky.com. But when I actually visited it, I had a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. Like, synapses were firing. I got transported back in time because I remember it from the early 2000s. Wicked porn has been around since before the Big Bang. It's older than dirt. It's the porn equivalent of Galactus, just this primordial being that always has been. It was established in 1993, which means the porn is older than the book that the musical is based on. The book came out in 1995 and the play was in the 2003 era. So the actual porn site that it links to is like the OG genesis of Wicked. Of course it has nothing to do with the play or anything, but I just found that to be so interesting. I didn't realize how old it was. I knew it was old as shit, but this blew my mind. Anyway though, let me dive in a little deeper on exactly what happened with this mishap. Did you see how Mattel put the URL to a porn site on all of their Wicked movie dolls? Mattel is pulling all the dolls from the shelves. Is that real? Or is that like a conspiracy? Are you serious? No way. What? Mattel apologizes for link to porn site on Wicked movie dolls. Come on, is nothing sacred anymore? I can't even buy a doll without having melons in my face anymore. Give me a break. Jeez Louise. As soon as I'm done with this ad, I'm sure I'll get to see a great news segment covering this. Here we go.
For a Wicked mistake, a web link on the packaging for 2 dolls promoting the new movie Wicked was actually a link to a porn site. It was apparently a typo that left out some letters from the movie's website. Mattel said, "We deeply regret this unfortunate error. Parents are advised that this misprinted, incorrect website is not appropriate for children.
What was the
Consumers are advised
website?
to discard the product packaging or obscure the link."
Wait, so it just left out a couple of letters and it linked to porn somehow? What was the site? The package for the dolls were printed with a web address to an adult film site with the same name as the upcoming movie musical starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. So the site's just... Oh, it's just wicked.com. Sarah Ganau, popular YouTube creator who makes videos about Legos, told ABC News she first heard about the printing mishap on Reddit and went to Target to see it for herself. Thought it was really funny initially, but I was also concerned because this went under the radar. Dolls have been on the shelves for weeks. Oh, these are now officially labeled as misprints. Huge collector's item now. The Mattel Wicked doll porn packaging. It was supposed to be wickedmovie.com. I doubt anyone actually going to punch in that exact URL. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I feel like most people don't. Since this misprint oopsie was made public, Mattel has taken all of the dolls off the shelves and all the major retailers no longer list them. There was a statement from Mattel saying, Mattel was made aware of a misprint on the packaging of the Mattel Wicked Collection dolls. Man, I've said the word Mattel so many times it's completely lost meaning already. Wow, fucking speed ran that one. Primarily sold in the US, which intended to direct consumers to the official wickedmovie.com landing page. We deeply regret this unfortunate error and are taking immediate action to remedy this. Parents are advised that the misprinted incorrect website is not appropriate for children. Consumers who already have the product are advised to discard the product packaging or obscure the link and may contact Mattel customer service for further information. I do wonder how many people would actually call that Mattel emergency hotline in this case, like freaking out, having a panic. Just having a conniption. Oh my god, so it turns out I have one of the Mattel doll porn packages, and I don't know what to do. What do I do? What's protocol here? Like, the solution should be super simple. Like, the only further information you should need from Mattel is if you can get a refund, because, I mean, why not try, I guess? But otherwise, just fucking throw away the packaging. Or if you're a collector, just put it on the shelf with the back of the box facing the wall, so that way your kids can't look at the URL. Or, like the article says, you can obscure it, you can put like a piece of duct tape on it, I guess. Or, and this is a crazy one, forgive me for my huge, brave, bold hot take here, you could just be a good parent. If your goose is already cooked, the ship has sailed, your kid already saw the wicked.com on the box, You can just tell them, don't go there, and you can make sure that they don't. You can even make up like a really cool story, like if you go to wicked.com, that's where the boogeyman lives, and he's taking all your allowance, and he's going to give you bad dreams and drain your Roblox account of all of its Robux. There's a million ways where you can ensure that your kid doesn't go to that website if they happen to have seen it on the box. But calling Mattel for further information to see if you can get a refund, I do think a lot of people will probably do that. Like, hey, my kid saw this, I'm pretty mad about it, I want my money back. That's probably going to be the main people that call there would be my guess, but who really knows? All I know is this is an interesting misprint. I don't think I've ever heard of a toy company accidentally linking its consumers, kids, to porn. Now, as mentioned on stream, I also don't know how many kids or just human beings in general see a URL on something and then manually go home and type it in. Like that's probably not super common, and in this case it definitely doesn't seem all that common because these toys were on the shelves for weeks before anybody even noticed it. So probably not a ton of people that got bamboozled and schmeckeldorfed by the wrong URL here, but even still it is a problem that needed fixing. That's all I really have to say about the whole Mattel fiasco here, but I do want to give you a little bonus because this blew my mind that anyone believed it. Someone sent me an email this morning saying that they had irrefutable proof of the paranormal that they saw on Twitter. Of course, that immediately raises some alarms there. That's definitely a bit of a red flag if you're getting your evidence from some random shitpost on Twitter, but I was curious. My curiosity was piqued, so I took a look at it. And it's this video right here, where it says, some people believe that rich politicians keep such creatures in their houses' secret rooms so as to get power and money. Your thoughts on this? And this is the video. It was immediately clear to me that this is an AI-generated video. But even if it wasn't, why would you instantly believe this? It comes from an anonymous source, and there is no real substance here to any of it. If it's not AI-generated, then the next logical conclusion you should draw is that it's a staged little horror short. But for some reason, the person who emailed me seemed to really believe this, and I looked at some of the comments, a lot of people seem to really believe this. It's crazy how desperate people are to believe in anything at all. Let's just read that back real quick. Some people believe that rich politicians keep such creatures in their houses' secret rooms so as to get power and money. So you're telling me some rich politicians are keeping I don't even know what that is, a goblin sea otter? Some kind of weird fucking Magic the Gathering card looking creature in their secret rooms for power and money. How is that little mythical fucking Bimgus going to be giving the politician power and money? How is it accomplishing that goal at all? It seems to just crawl around on a bed. If this was even real, which it's not, it's an AI-generated video, but like even suspending that disbelief, how is it doing that? Like if it was fairy godparents, like if we're talking about Crocker here, then I get it. Crocker's keeping fairy godparents locked up for power and money. Fine. That logic checks out. But this, what? It's just sad more than anything that anyone would believe that. Like the story associated with it isn't even close to believable. It's nonsensical. But yeah, I just had to at least briefly mention this here because I saw that in an email this morning with a hard believer of that being real evidence of the paranormal somehow. That's about it. See ya.